Telecom and internet services are down in Gaza again. This is CNBC's live blog tracking developments on the Israel-Hamas war. See below for the latest updates. The Israel Defense Forces said Sunday it was continuing its operations against Hamas leadership and infrastructure in northern Gaza. Demonstrators gathered in major cities around the world for the fourth straight weekend since the war began. Many protesters called for an end to Israel's bombardment of Gaza as concerns over civilian casualties mount. Israel has faced increased criticism after reports of airstrikes on a refugee camp and a caravan of ambulances this past week. On Saturday, U.S. President Joe Biden said yes when reporters asked if there has been progress on coaxing Israel into pausing its strikes on Gaza. He did not elaborate. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has so far rejected calls for a ceasefire. He also faces growing pressure domestically as protesters gathered outside of his home Saturday, calling on him to resign. More CNBC coverage of the Israel-Hamas war. Hezbollah chief dubs Hamas attacks wise, well-timed. Blinken meets with Netanyahu in Israel. Why Israel's long war ahead in Gaza will be nothing like what it's faced before. Where Hamas gets its money and why it's hard to stop, even as the US steps up. What is Israel's Iron Dome? Here's what you need to know about the missile defense system. At least 9,400 people have been killed in Gaza and tens of thousands more injured, according to the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza. Israel has counted at least 1,400 dead, mostly during the terror attack by Palestinian militant group Hamas on October 7. CNBC has not been able to independently verify the death toll. UN agencies have warned that a disproportionate share of casualties have been women and children. On Sunday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken departed Jordan and is due to stop in Turkey for further discussions on protecting civilians, humanitarian relief, and reducing regional tensions. Turkey has been critical of Israel and called for a ceasefire. Ankara also supports a two-state solution. 1 hour ago. Palestine ambassador to UK after Blinken's Ramallah visit, the US should be an honest mediator. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, shakes hands with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas during their meeting in Jordan's capital Amman on October 13, 2023. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, shakes hands with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas during their meeting in Jordan's capital Amman on October 13, 2023. Jacqueline Martin AFP Getty Images. Hussam Zomlot, the Palestinian ambassador to the United Kingdom, said Sunday that the United States has not taken a hard enough stance in support of Palestinians. We need to see the US playing the role of an honest mediator, not adopting the Israeli narrative, Zomlot said in a Sunday interview on CBS Face the Nation. We need a grown-up in the room and that is the U.S. Zomlot's comments followed a meeting between Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in the West Bank city of Ramallah earlier on Sunday where notably, no joint statement was issued afterward. Zomlot said that is because there is still tension between the U.S. and Palestine. A statement from Blinken's office noted the points where the two leaders are on the same page, the necessity for humanitarian aid, prioritizing civilian lives and finding a pathway to Palestinian independence. But Blinken and Abbas still diverged when it came to demands for an immediate ceasefire. Blinken has expressed support for humanitarian pauses of the violence in order to ease aid deliveries and hostage rescues. However, he has also continued to stand by the U.S. position that a total ceasefire could allow Hamas to regroup and repeat its October 7 attack on Israel. Palestine wants the US to favor a ceasefire. Unfortunately, we haven't heard that and that's why we did not come up with a joint statement, Zomlot said. Rebecca Picciotto. 2 hours ago. Senators threaten US military action if Iran expands Israel-Hamas war. Senator Lindsey Graham, RS.C., and Senator Richard Blumenthal, DCT, will introduce a non-binding resolution in the Senate on Monday threatening U.S. military action against Iran if it expands the war between Israel and Hamas. Such an expansion may occur by activating Hezbollah or by killing American troops through Iran-backed proxies in Syria or Iraq, Graham said Sunday on CNN's State of the Union. Hezbollah is an Iranian-backed militant group based in Lebanon, which shares a border with Israel's north. There is no Hamas without the Ayatollah's support. There's no Hezbollah without the Ayatollah's support, Graham said. The great Satan in the region isn't Israel or the United States, it's Iran. Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah's leader, threatened escalation with Israel on Friday, in his first address since the October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. A Senate resolution is meant to deter Iran from stoking a broader regional conflict, the senators said. It's aggressive but it's absolutely necessary, Blumenthal said. Iran is financially fueling, equipping, supplying all of these proxies that have as their goal to disrupt and destabilize the region, he added. Greg Iokersai. 3 hours ago. Former President Obama says all sides to the conflict are complicit to some degree. Former President Barack Obama speaks to attendees at the Obama Foundation Democracy Forum on November 3, 2023 in Chicago, Illinois. Former President Barack Obama speaks to attendees at the Obama Foundation Democracy Forum on November 3, 2023 in Chicago, Illinois. Scott Olson, Getty Images. Former President Barack Obama says nobody's hands are clean in the Israel-Hamas war and acknowledged that he's questioned in recent days whether his administration could have done more to push for a durable peace when he was in power. If you want to solve the problem, then you have to take in the whole truth, Obama said in an interview Pod Save America. And you then have to admit nobody's hands are clean. That all of us are complicit to some degree. The former president went on to tell his interviewers, Obama administration alumni Dan Pfeiffer and Tommy Vietor, that he has asked himself since the start of the war, was there something else I could have done? The former president did make an attempt at peace between Israel and Palestinians during his second term, but months of talks collapsed in 2014 amid disagreements on Israeli settlements, the release of Palestinian prisoners and other issues. I look at this and I think back, what could I have done during my presidency to move this forward as hard as I tried? I've got the scars to prove it, Obama said in excerpts of an interview released on X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. The entire interview is scheduled to be released on Tuesday. Associated Press. 3 hours ago. Israel ambassador to U.S., we are not going to put a time frame on this war. Israeli ambassador to the United States Michael Herzog reiterated that Israel will not end the war until Hamas is neutralized. We cannot stop before we dismantle this terror machine, Herzog